Welcome back. Week 16. Week 2 of the majority of playoffs. Sully, how many of your teams made it through?
3. And this might be the end of the road. I'm heavily invested in Jalen Hurts, which hurts. And we'll see. Like I was mentioning to you earlier, I have a super flex league where my only quarterback going this week is Jeff Driscoll. So take that for what it's worth.
That's brutal. There's been some brutal late season matchups. I also have 3 that made it through. I do not have a good start on 2 out of the 3. So Zonovan Knight and that whole running game completely disappearing. Zach Wilson is bad, man. And this reminds me of bad quarterback play in Chicago, where all they've got to do is focus on the run. They don't have to worry about anything else. That kid was just throwing up shots, just hoping they landed in the right hands.
Is he cooked?
I have not seen many guys play as poorly as him and come back from it. And it sucks because I liked him coming out. I thought he had a lot of potential, but we talk about it, and you've been around for all the rookie studying that we've done over the past 4 or 5 off seasons. You just never know what's above the shoulders, and I think that's the biggest problem. I think he's got the physical talent to be a good quarterback in the NFL. I just don't know that he's got it above the shoulders.
Is it system? Is it like what I was thinking when I was watching that game on Thursday was, how is Brock Purdy, who's like the last flipping guy drafted in the draft, just kind of executing, going out and dinking and dunking and doing what he has to do? And then this dude who's 2nd overall in the draft just looks like he's never played the game before. Like if Wilson got drafted by the Niners, would he be good?
I mean, I can't say, obviously there's some coaches that are just better with quarterbacks and offense and everything like that. But when Mike White's coming into the offense and they're moving the ball, Joe Flacco at the beginning of the year put up some 300-yard passing games, and Streveler comes in, and while I wouldn't say Streveler's good, they move the ball once he came in. So a lot of it was him running, but the ball was moving. And when Zach Wilson's in there, the ball just does not move, and it's bad. And it's amazing. And it sucks. For those that have invested in him in Dynasty. I liked him. He was my 2nd quarterback in that class, and it just has not played out well for him. And I just don't know that I don't know, man. I've just never seen somebody play this bad and then bounce back and be good. I mean, I know there's been people, but and talking about Brock Purdy, we've got the Jeff Garcias and the Kurt Warners that were undrafted guys that came in and played super well. Yep. So system definitely does help there in San Francisco, and Shanahan is a good offensive mind and knows how to put his players in the best position. But Brock Purdy could just be good too. Like maybe not great, maybe not, maybe a different style of quarterback, but you don't have to be, the Josh Allen that can throw it as far as anybody, or the Patrick Mahomes that can make magic out of every play. If you can just move your offense and not turn the ball over, you're a good quarterback in the NFL. Turnovers are key, right? Like if you can hold on to the ball and move the ball, then you can be fine.
Wilson just kind of looks like Josh Rosen right now.
Josh Rosen didn't even get that much of an opportunity. It reminds me kind of Nathan Peterman when he got his.
Maybe.
It's been bad. It's horrible. It sucks. Castile, I'm glad you moved over to YouTube so we know you're asking a question. Good morning and happy championship season, fellas. Need a QB between Purdy, Danny Dimes, and Jared Goff. Which one are you going with here, Sully?
I was just pulling up the schedule to take a look. So Purdy against Washington, Danny Dimes against my beloved Minnesota Vikings, and Jared Goff. I can't remember where the hell Goff is. He's in Carolina. So the Vikings D is just giving it up. Like they're giving up over 300 passing yards a week over the last 3 or 4 weeks. They're giving up a ton on the ground over the last few weeks. I'm very interested to see Purdy this week because I think we haven't seen him against an actual pass rush yet, and we're going to this week. So I'm going to fade him a little bit. I'll probably go with Jones here. I I'd probably rank them Jones, Goff, Purdy. How about you?
I agree. Minnesota's defense has been playing putrid. The nice thing with these three is that we don't have to worry about weather, right? Like these are three of the quarterbacks that don't have weather concerns, and the other three are on the opposite sides of them. I guess the two down in Dallas with Minshew and Dak as well, but a lot of weather concerns this weekend. See, I'm between Purdy and Dimes here. Again, Purdy doesn't have the volume, but highly efficient in that offense. Would love it a lot more if Debo was in, but he is out. So yeah. I think I'll go Danny Dimes, but Purdy was second for me, and Goff third. But Goff has probably the better ceiling out of the three. If you need ceiling, if your matchups, bad, I think he does probably have the better ceiling because he's actually got weapons. Danny Dimes just doesn't.
It's true.
You don't want Darius Slayton to be your number one wide receiver. You would love him to be like your number three, and then you're in a pretty good spot. But yeah, that's a tough one. But at least you don't have the weather concerns. At least who you're putting in there is going to have a clean ball. Marco from the future, you're here early this week. You normally show up in the second half of the show. I guess, I don't know. Is that a bad omen? Like, does something bad happen in the next hour and a half or something?
We're going to find out.
Good afternoon and Merry Christmas to you as well, Marco. We appreciate you coming by. Joseph is hurting, so he must not have any available Bengals players. One PPR, start three, Kamara, Walker, Rashad White, Fournette, Burks, or Dotson. I think Walker's the clear one for me. I think Walker is in.
Starting three of these guys?
Yeah, we're starting three of them. I think Walker's the only no-brainer for me.
Well, he's definitely one. He's definitely one of the three. I think Burks is out with Willis. I think Dotson I like, but I don't like him against the Niners. Right. White and Fournette kind of cancel each other out. And Alvin Kamara, which I came across this little tidbit this season, has 3 touchdowns this season, all in the same game.
Yeah.
He's been horrid. But he might get a ton of volume today in what sounds like the worst of the weather games in Cleveland with wind and rain and snow and cold. So I'm probably going to go Kamara, Walker.
Are you trying to decide one of the Tampa Bay running backs?
Yeah, and I want to go Fournette, but I don't know if I should.
I think that's what I'm doing. In a situation like this, you drafted Kamara and Fournette in the first few rounds. Not that that's we're 16 weeks in, but when it's close here, I'm taking a shot on. You drafted them because they have a ceiling every week, right?
You drafted them that high because they're good. Well, they're supposed to be. Yeah.
And when it's this close, I agree with you, Burks. I'm not touching the passing game with Willis in Tennessee. And then the 49ers matchup it leaves it to the running backs. Plus the running backs, like you said, you got to worry about a lot less in this weather. It could actually be a benefit to them in that type of weather. So I think I'm going to go Fournette, Walker, and Kamara. I do agree. The Fournette White is very close. They're getting similar touches, but luckily there's still a floor there with both of them, whichever one you go with. They have a floor at least, and they're using them both quite a bit. It's going to be which one finds the end zone is going to be the one that scores the most points probably out of these two. So I'm going to go Fournette. I think he probably is still the goal line guy, and that might be the little difference that we need in this matchup. So I think we're on the same page there, right?
We are, and I think push comes to shove, Brady still prefers Fournette. I think
he does. He prefers his vets for sure. I mean, he's 45. He can't relate to the 22-year-old. Look at this. We get to actually utilize little
What's up?
Christmas thing now.
Holy, it's
Quite the drive home.
Hey,
How
let's back up real quick.
You got rough roads out there?
Oh yeah.
Yeah, well, I can't even leave. I'm snowed in. It's awesome.
Pretty-
Real
Pretty
quick,
bad when
help
the Canadian has
Joe
the
out.
best roads.
He doesn't have any Bengals players to put in there, so he needs 3.
Okay, start 3. Kamara, Walker, Rashad White, Fournette, Traylon Burks, Jahan Dotson. Well, it's definitely not Traylon Burks with that quarterback.
Yep.
I think Kamara is number 1 for me. Man, I might go Kamara, White, and then I kind of want to start both Buccaneers running backs. I'm going to go Kamara, White, and Jahan Dotson.
Really? You're not gonna have Kenneth Walker in there.
Oh, I'm so sorry. Kamara, Kenneth Walker, and White. Thank you. I did not even see. I completely skipped over Kamara.
I was gonna say Walker was my number 1 out of all of these.
Yeah, that's my number 1 as well.
The only one you had different than us is we had Fournette over White because he's probably the goal line guy.
Yeah, I can see that. Fournette did kind of like have a weird. I don't know if they put the fumble on him, but it was like a miscommunication with him and Brady, and it seems like I think Rashad White started last week, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, they're still like 50-50.
They've been like each series a different guy's been in. They've been doing that for a few weeks now.
Yeah.
Full PPR. Choose a wide receiver: DJ Shark, Shaheed, Chris Moore, Godwin, Dotson, Sutton, Burks, Richie James.
Holy hell.
Mini Jordan needs. I'm going Goodwin here. I like Goodwin. I like the spot he's in, filling in for Tyler Lockett. That's a lot of volume. Not that Goodwin's going to get it all, but I feel like he's going to be highly involved in that offense. And they've got KC. I'm going Goodwin. It's ugly, but I don't trust any of these guys, so that's where I'll go. Bryce?
I kind of like Jahan Dotson out of all these options, really.
Really? So my big concern with Dotson is just the entire Washington offense versus 49ers.
Yeah, and all 3 of their receivers are pretty involved. It'd be Burks if Tannehill was playing kind of easily for me, but
I agree with that.
Man, when it goes with these guys and like all their quarterbacks are really, DJ Shark probably got the best quarterback of all these guys. I'm probably just going to go with the best athlete, and I think that's Jahan Dotson.
This is a mess. I'm personally, I'm currently debating between Chris Moore and Cortland Sutton from one of my own lineups, and I'm leaning towards Sutton. I don't know why, but I am. Shaheed's in a crap weather game with inconsistent quarterback play, and it sounds like Taysom
and he's
Hill
only had 13 targets all year.
And he is boom or absolute bust. I like Chris Moore because of volume, but Cooks is back this week. The Goodwin in for Lockett piece makes a lot of sense. Dotson, I just don't like the matchup. Burks and James are out for sure. So I think it's probably Marquise Goodwin, which is weird, but it probably is because the Seahawks are going to have to throw a ton playing against KC. They're playing for their playoff lives. So I would go Goodwin there, but I think Sutton would be my second choice.
Anthony says, Merry Christmas, Heat Seekers, Ken Walker or J.K. Dobbins in full PPR. Sully, why don't you start us off with this one?
I'm going to go with Kenneth Walker here. And I know he hasn't been overly efficient, but he gets a ton of touches. Dobbins is still going to split. And I know he's been pretty good since he's come back. But Dobbins isn't going to catch anything. And Walker could catch 2 to 3, maybe even 4 balls this week. So that helps him big time in this format. So I'll go with Kenneth Walker. How about you, Bryce?
Yeah, I'm going to agree with Kenneth Walker on this one. I like both options, but Kenneth Walker gets all the work where Gus Edwards and Justice Hill are. Gus Edwards has a decent role, and then Justice Hill also gets sprinkled in there. So I'll take the guy who gets all the work. Rick?
Yeah, I'm with you guys here. I love J.K. Dobbins long term, but the other thing is I do think that Ken Walker's check downs are a little more in play this week with a lot more passing plays for Seattle.
Agreed.
But I will say we thought this with Houston just a week ago or so, and they held with KC and completely changed that entire game plan from what we thought it was going to be. I thought it was going to be a lot of Pacheco, and when you're trailing to Houston, it ends up being a different style game.
That's one of the few things I got right this year.
Scott says, "Happy holidays. I started Zach Wilson on Thursday.
Sorry, bro.
Please pray for me. Thanks for all y'all's hard work this season." Scott, I started Zonovan Knight in 2 of my 3 semifinals. So I feel for you. Need some help with some of these other players to make up the gap. But we appreciate it. We appreciate you coming by every Sunday. We love the company for sure.
Hey,
Chad says,
yeah, like I say, Scott, I'm starting Jeff Driscoll this week, man, so it could be worse.
well, I don't know. He might score more points.
I don't know.
Zach
I don't know if anybody
yeah,
else on the
definitely.
planet is starting Jeff Driscoll as their only QB in a Superflex league this week.
But that doesn't mean that he won't score more points than Zach Wilson.
He's definitely going to score more than him.
I don't even know if he's going to see the field.
He could still score more.
Jesus, what a
Health,
mess.
injuries, and weather has me concerned. QB, Purdy or Minshew. Need one running back, Zeke or Kenneth Walker. Flex, Cooper, Walker, Elliott, Goodwin, or Waller. Have Eagles defense, but thinking about starting the Titans.
Okay.
Well, I can just say defense wise, I'm sticking with the Eagles.
So am I.
I'm not going Titans. And then QB, I'm personally still going Purdy here. Gets a lot harder after that. How many flex do you need? Do you just need one flex, so it'll be out of whatever running back we don't take and those players listed? You have those players listed in there.
I think we got to pick one of those. Yeah.
Okay. Which quarterback are you going with, Sully?
Minshew. Better weapons. That's basically what it comes down to. And I think that he's got some juice in his legs, and he's got that 0 F's given attitude that I think is kind of fun too. So I'm going to go with Minshew.
And a mustache.
Right?
Absolutely. Yeah.
He came. Did you see how he showed up to Dallas?
No.
I can't remember where I shared the video, but he was in like full Top Gun attire.
Yeah, you got to like that guy. Yeah, one Minshew as well, just by weapon, because of weapons around him.
Okay, so running back, are we going Kenneth Walker or Zeke, Bryce?
I'm going to go Walker.
Sully?
I want to go Zeke here. I just think Zeke scores. I don't know if Walker does, but again, if we're looking at like we did with Dobbins, a splitting of work, I'll go with Walker as well because, to Bryce's point, he's going to get the work. So
I'm going with both because I was
going to say, here's the option now.
You're going to flex.
Are you flexing Zeke?
Well, I didn't get that far, so I'm not flexing Cooper in that weather.
Mm-hmm.
Walker's already in, so now it's Elliott, Goodwin, or Waller.
Yeah, I guess it's Zeke, eh?
I don't know why, but I have a feeling it's going to be a big Goodwin day.
I am going to go DJ Moore last week, and he had a pretty good week.
Yeah.
Do what?
I kept saying that about DJ Moore last week, and he had a pretty good game.
I said
he had a pretty good first quarter, and then he didn't score anymore. I thought
that's all you need. That's all you need.
Well, I mean, it only ended up being like 13 points, though, right?
I said that about Romeo Dobbs in week 6, and he got nothing. So, like, you never know how this is going to work out.
Right. No, I'll go Elliott. I mean, that's definitely the safe play because Goodwin could just score 0.
He had 18. DJ Moore had 18.
Then he gets 18. I just remember he had like 13 in the first quarter, and then
he had like 4 for 40 and a touchdown.
Yeah. I'll go Elliott too, but I don't know why. Goodwin's literally just a hunch with the vacated targets of Lockett. They're gonna have to throw.
Is that weather that game? Like it's not very windy, is it? It's an outdoor game too, and the weather was
it's in Seattle or it's in Kansas City, and it's just supposed to be cold, I think.
Yeah, I think that's all was
temperature in the single digits with 10-mile-an-hour wind, brutal weather in general, but because of the light winds, it won't be hugely impactful to the game itself. That, according to Roto Grinders.
All right. Marco has a tough one here. We got to start 4 out of Dotson, Palmer, Chris Moore, Cooks, D-Rob, Jameson, Sky Moore, or Thielen. Half PPR. So the half PPR hurts the Houston wide receivers, Chris Moore and Cooks, because that's how they put points on the board. It's just volume and tons of receptions, right?
Mm-hmm.
They don't get tons of yards, even with a ton of receptions. They're all short.
I think you can remove Sky Moore and Demarcus Robinson pretty easily here, right?
I mean, I don't think Demarcus Robinson can be removed easily out of this group. Out of most groups, I would say yes.
I think with his current situation at quarterback, I think he's up against it, but he will get targets, so that's fair.
I think Thielen and Dotson are in, even though I don't like the matchup for Dotson. I think those are the two that are in for sure.
And I think I'll throw Palmer and Moore in there as well. I don't know if I want to start Moore over Cooks, though.
Right, that's my thing with Cooks in too.
But does Cooks give a crap anymore? Like, I don't even know why he's playing.
I honestly, this is tough. Dotson and Thielen.
Yeah.
Palmer will get some action, even though he's third on the pecking chart there.
He's got a decent weather game too, right? So that's part of it.
Yeah. And then, that's part of the reason why I'm considering Jameson here. But Detroit's defense has been playing better lately, and Carolina's played everybody tough, though.
Carolina's going to want to run the ball all day. So that'll slow the pace of that down if they're remotely successful. I don't know. I just think Jameson is like 2 to 3 targets, and they're all 65-yard targets, but he's just got to catch one.
Well, that's the thing, right? That's my thought with it, with being half PPR and then just other options just not being good.
Bryce, what are you doing here?
It's Thielen, Dotson, Palmer easily for me, and then that's
too.
That's where I got the problem. It's like, I guess I go.
It's probably Brandon Cooks, right?
It's probably just Brandon Cooks because of targets. I mean, Jameson. I was looking at Jameson Williams, and he has 4 targets in 3 games. Obviously, you wouldn't expect him to have a lot, but still, I really don't see him having any value until next year. So I'll just still go with Brandon Cooks and hope he can somehow find the end zone. It seems like the Texans are scoring lately, which is wild, but so
they're playing. They're playing really tough. Like, I give them all the credit in the world. Like, they put Dallas
and Kansas City a run for their money, so,
right?
They can score on the mighty Dallas defense. I feel like they can score on.
And the Texans are going to win today.
Dallas defense has been pretty bad.
Or whenever
I know. That's why I said the mighty, because
they've been pretty bad of late. So are we all going Cooks? Are we all going the same 4 there? Like, that's
I'm going Chris Moore instead of Cooks.
Really, I can't go Chris Moore with Brandon Cooks back.
Yeah,
I don't know, man. The guy's been decent enough, and Cooks hasn't exactly let the world on fire this year. So, but it's either one of those two.
You got a super chat.
All right, remember that we're on Fame Tiger.
Yep, I can remember that.
Daniel says, sit one of these, Kamara, Stevenson, McKinnon, and it's PPR. Thank you, fellas. Well, first off, thank you for the super chat. We appreciate it. This does move you to the top of the line, so appreciate your contribution. And now, for the tough question, are you plugging McKinnon in again this week, Sully?
Yeah, ride what got you here, right? Like, McKinnon has been on absolute fire. With that said, I think he might be the guy I sit here, to be totally honest with you. I think that it's hard because, like I said last,
Kamara.
Yeah, Ramondre's in my lineup here. I'm just worried that Kamara is going to get, 25 to 30 touches and Taysom Hill gets another 15 to 20, and that's the entire Saints offense. So like I said last week, I liked McKinnon because it wasn't so much touches, but it was the quality of touches that he's getting in that offense, and I think they're rounding him into form for the playoffs. Ugh. I'm going to sit McKinnon here. Bryce?
I'm sitting Kamara. I was looking at McKinnon's last 5 games, and he's averaging last 6 games, he's averaging over 6 targets a game, along with getting around 5 to 8 carries. I just can't sit him in that Kansas City offense. And Stevenson's the easy start here. He should see 25 plus touchdowns.
You just talked me into switching mine. I didn't realize he had been averaging 6 targets.
He had 8, 1, and then 6, then 2, and then 9, then 8. So it's like he had 2 bad ones in there, but I mean 8, 6, 9, 8, 4, and 4 of the last 6.
Yeah, I'll take a shot there on targets. I mean, that's why we were really in love with Kamara, right? He used to get that volume at running back, but he would get twice as many carries. Mm-hmm. And that's not happening anymore. So I'm riding with the hot offense. I've been talking about how I think Seattle's going to have to throw a ton. So that means that Chiefs are scoring, right? So I'm going to go with you. I'm going to sit Kamara, which is rough. You invested a lot in him, but
I'm going with Bryce as well. I'm going with you too as well. It's like we said earlier, Kamara has scored 3 touchdowns this year, all in the same game. And I was worried about Kansas City throwing last week. Doesn't matter. They're going to throw against whoever they play against, regardless of score, to Bryce's point last week. And Kamara's on fire. So, McKinnon's on fire. So let's go.
In the last 3 weeks.
It does help when you're behind the whole game, though. I thought they were going to freaking annihilate Houston. I don't know what
I had.
You and everybody else. Did you?
I did. It was 14 points. So I'll take 14-point spread. That's a lot in the NFL.
All right. Fame Tiger says, my main running backs are Connor, Derrick Henry. So you got Derrick Henry in a great spot today. Need 2 wide receivers and a flex in PPR. Keenan Allen, Terry McLaurin, DeAndre Hopkins, Amari Cooper, Evans, running back Stevenson, Monty, Dobbins, and Moss. So he needs 2 wide receivers and a flex in PPR. I mean, there's going to be some good stuff on the freaking bench here. I'm going Keenan Allen, DeAndre Hopkins, and Ramondre Stevenson.
Need 2 wide receivers and a flex. Keenan Allen. Ramondre Stevenson.
That second wide receiver is tough, but
it's the quarterback situation in Arizona. Like, I know D-Hop is D-Hop, but still, I don't know what to do with that. Like, it's like your Uncle Jim is quarterback for Arizona this week. So,
which is what he dealt with for majority of his career in Houston.
Right.
But he was also 26 at the time and not 30.
I think it's still him, though. Like, I don't like McLaurin's going to have a really nasty matchup. Cooper's playing in horrific weather. Evans has been really disappointing with an incredibly inconsistent old QB. Yeah, I think it's Allen, Hopkins, Stevenson.
Yeah, it's easily Hopkins. I mean, he hasn't scored under 12 points this entire season. Keenan Allen and Ramondre Stevenson should be considered your main running back with Connor as your other flex option. But, it's all the same.
That's fair. But Derrick Henry could go for 204 today, and it wouldn't surprise anybody.
Yeah.
Correct. James Conner.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Everybody agrees on this one. Clamped.
You got another super chat.
I was wrong about Conner.
Hey. Taylor Meredith. No, I don't play Taylor. He says, I said it. He needs to beat Custer, Swift, or Drake London, PPR.
I think this one's easy. Isn't it DeAndre Swift? We're in Baltimore. Not the nicest weather in the world. Desmond Ridder looks like Zach Wilson.
He did try and pepper Drake London.
Yeah, London got
He
so
did.
much work.
He did, because who the hell else is he going to throw to? He might not be the greatest quarterback in the world, but he's not stupid. But I just think, again, it comes down to touches and quality touches for me, and I think Swift is that guy.
Yeah, Swift in the last 4 weeks is averaging like a little over 6 targets a week. I'll go Swift as well, but I don't mind Drake London this week. That's a tough matchup for your first NFL start against the Saints too.
Yeah, we're looking at cold weather and wind in Baltimore as well. Yeah. And now he played in Cincinnati, so I'm sure he's played in the crap before, but
this is different than this isn't normal crap for
right.
us around here. So it's still a little bit different than I'll go Swift as well. I'm with you.
Yeah, 9 targets last week. That's a lot.
Right? It's hard for the Canadian guy here to feel bad about you guys' weather, by the way.
Yeah, more targets than carries. Wow.
Yeah, which is so weird.
Yeah.
Justin Jackson, go away.
His usage is extremely strange.
Marco says it's not a bad omen. Trust me, I'm from the future. Just got off early from work today. Well, then give us the answers.
Still don't know.
I still don't know. Answers to the test.
Should be co-host, then you shouldn't be asking questions.
Ryan
be helping us out.
Ryan says in a PPR super flex spot, start 1, Malik Willis, Heineke, Pittman, Deontay Johnson, Miles Sanders, or DJ Moore. I was leaning towards Pittman and DJ Moore because of value, but maybe Heineke because of garbage time, ? So Bryce, which player out of all these are you starting?
If Matt Ryan was playing, it would be Pittman for me pretty easily. But
do we really think Nick Foles is worse than Matt Ryan?
I don't know. I don't necessarily think that, but I do think that Nick Foles will, if anything, Nick Foles might be better where he spreads it out more, where Matt Ryan just like loved Pittman Jr. Like 10 plus targets, it seemed like most weeks. Deontay Johnson's out because Kenny Pickett does not target him nearly as much as Mitch Trubisky would.
True.
DJ Moore is super inconsistent. Malik Willis might not throw the ball 10 times today.
Might run for 120 though.
It's between Miles Sanders and Heineke for me. I don't know about you guys, but what Miles Sanders, let's see, what did he do last week?
Nothing.
So he's due.
Well,
so he's due.
he does benefit from Minshew versus Hurts, I would think.
I think so, yeah. I mean, they're gonna run, they're not gonna, there's no option. I don't think. I'm going to start the quarterback. I'm going to go Taylor Heineke. Sully.
Yeah, like the Niners are giving up like 9.5 points to the quarterback position this season. So I'm probably starting Willis over Heineke if I had to pick a quarterback, because I think Malik Willis can run for 80 and throw for, I don't 40. Know what, maybe, but he might throw for a touchdown, right? So but when I look at all of these options here, and I almost always want to start the quarterback when given the opportunity, but I'm going to start Miles Sanders out of this.
Yeah, I'm changing mine. I did not. I thought the Niners played somebody else. I'm going to also go Miles Sanders.
That's one of the reasons why we were saying earlier that we don't like Jahan Dotson's matchup this week.
Yeah, I understand.
I'm going Pittman, and there's one reason. He's at least consistently getting targets.
True.
And Miles Sanders, how the do you have a matchup versus the Bears and he's got 2 touches in the first half?
Weird, hey? Like he killed a ton of people last week, like a ton.
The inconsistency of how they use their running backs in Philly is very scary. And I understand Minshew's coming in, but he was still throwing the ball 30 plus times in his starts last year. Just a different type of, pass than we see with Hurts in there. So I just think Pittman's the safest out of the bunch, and he does still have a ceiling because he could get 13 targets. So that's where I'm going.
Who they play today? Because I might.
Who's that? Who?
The Colts play today? The Chargers.
I believe so. 1 sec, I'll double check for you.
No, I'm gonna switch again. I'm gonna go Pittman Jr.
And they're in. I know they're in Indy, right? So they're inside too. So that's
14 targets last week. But Nick.
Yeah, that game's Monday night in Indianapolis. You're right. It's against the Chargers.
I'm gonna go. I'll go Pittman Jr. I don't think is J.C. Jackson
playing. Headphone cord out. Talk amongst yourselves. I am switching as well. I'm falling apart over here, but yes, I'm with Pittman as well now.
Yeah, give me Pittman Jr.
All right, Huntley or Foles? Bryce.
I'll take Foles. Sully.
So will I, and good God, that's gross.
Yeah, I'm with you guys. You know, I thought Huntley played a lot better for fantasy last year than he did.
He did. 100%.
He did, but
No. In fantasy, we had one really good game, and the other ones were like mediocre, in between 13 and 14 points.
Last year?
Yeah.
But he fed Mark Andrews like crazy last year.
But there was one really good. He had like a 25-point game, but then the rest of them were like 13, 14. Like, he wasn't as good as I remembered him being in fantasy.
It was a 39-point game.
39-point game.
14 touchdowns. Or 14.
Holy.
Four
wow.
touchdowns.
14 touchdowns. Like, damn, that's like he broke Nick Foles' record.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, you're right. The rest of the games were real mediocre. It was just that one big game.
Yeah.
Yeah, you're right.
That dude's not very good. Sorry to say.
Yeah.
I'm going with Foles as well here. Ryan saying hit the like button.
Thanks, Ryan.
And just I put up the poll. Does Gardner Minshew lead Philly to a win over Dallas? And we are at 52% yes and 48% no, and that's on 27 votes.
It's close.
I think the Cowboys win that one, but I think it'll be close.
I think it'll be the Eagles.
Matt says which two to start? Shark, Dotson, Dobbs. Sully.
I'm going to sit Romeo Dobbs here.
Bryce.
I'm going to sit Jahan Dotson because of the matchup. Romeo Dobbs just came back and already was the leading receiver last week.
With what?
Like,
with what though?
I mean, like 10 points, 9 points. I mean, but I'd say his floor is higher than Dotson this week.
I'm
$5.
Yeah.
$5 holiday bet. Okay.
Dobbs over Dotson.
I had my notebook out.
I will take
Dotson over
Dobbs. Garbage time points count too.
Well, Green Bay could be getting garbage points as well. They're not very good.
Hey, that is true. I need Rodgers. It sickens me, but I need Aaron Rodgers to have a great week.
Lucius Varenas says Dak or Minshew today. Thanks.
This is Dak.
Yeah, this is Dak.
Yeah, it's Dak. It's Dak for sure. Good afternoon and Merry Christmas, Bryce. We're a little bit late to that. We're well behind.
I saw it when I first joined, so
we're well behind on questions here. Andrews or Juwan Johnson? The fact that this is even a question is crazy after how good Mark Andrews had been, but it's a serious question. Like, it has not been good lately for Mr. Mark Andrews. But Sully, are you sitting him for Juwan Johnson?
Not a chance in hell. Because I know that Mark Andrews is going to be on the field and they're actually going to try to throw the ball to him. I don't know what's going to happen with the Saints. There is a ton of reports that it's going to be primarily Taysom Hill at quarterback this week. And that means one thing. He's running the football. He's not throwing the football. So I think that's a game to avoid everything in if you possibly can, other than running backs, that New Orleans-Cleveland game. And I know that Baltimore is not that far away from Cleveland and the weather won't be dramatically different. But at the end of the day, Mark Andrews is vastly superior talent-wise. And the quarterback position, even with Huntley, isn't that far of a drop-off. So absolutely Mark Andrews for me.
Bryce.
Yeah, you can't. You got to start your studs. And I know Mark Andrews has been disappointing lately. And Juwan Johnson's had his moments this season, definitely, especially the last 5 weeks. He's got over 10 points, 4 of them. But you'd imagine that the Ravens have got to throw the ball, and Mark Andrews is really the only other guy, the best athlete to throw it to. So you can't sit him. He's due.
I actually think Isaiah Likely is a better athlete, but I'm going with Andrews as well.
That I can't argue with. I don't mind that take.
I'm going with Andrews as well.
Andrews has been disappointing, no doubt. He's got 12. Sorry, he's got 8 weeks inside the top 12 at his position, and Juwan Johnson has 3. So I get it's what have you done for me lately kind of thing, but I think we need to pump the brakes.
Well, yeah,
on.
but the difference for me is Juwan Johnson has had the ceiling and Andrews hasn't. Even in the tight end premium league I have Andrews in, he's been a very disappointing member. But thank you, Evan Ingram. Thank you.
Yeah, you're bang on there.
Good start this week for me with Evan Ingram.
Whew. Yeah, it would be great for me in my one league if I didn't have Zonovan Knight in the same lineup.
Yeah, he had Zay Jones. I had Evan Ingram, so I'm off to a solid start.
Oh, dude, I was so happy. I talked some people out of Zay Jones this week, even though I've been a big proponent for him. But I do not want outside receivers against the Jets.
I ended up sitting Zay at the last minute. And I was thrilled that I did.
CeeDee Lamb or DJ Moore, Sully?
Lamb by a mile and a half.
I'll go back to our friend Jeffrey Jacobs saying it'd be Lamb by a country mile. Remember he said that about who did he say that about over Saquon? Tony Pollard over Saquon.
Yeah.
That one didn't work out for me.
Yeah, it sure didn't. You're not rich.
But I will go back to Jarrett McKinnon crushing. I got that one. And there was a couple others that I did okay on. I think we split down the middle.
15 touches that game at least, but it just didn't really.
Yeah, I had that fumble, though. That fumble really kind of hurt him.
Well, yeah, I mean, he went 15 for 86. He definitely goes over 100 if freaking Chiefs don't suck against Houston.
Well, if he doesn't fumble, he's probably 18 for 120, though, right? Like he probably keeps getting touches.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going Lamb as well. My country mile. Happy holidays, fellas. Pittman or Devonta. Also, I need one of the 3 here: Latavius, Pacheco, or Deion Jackson. Full PPR. Thanks.
It's Devonta for me and Pacheco for me as well.
It's Devonta for me.
It's got to be Pacheco.
Man, but Latavius Murray, we were completely wrong about him last week, Rick. I mean, he went.
But he's banged up, and I don't know if it means anything or not, but Chase Edmonds is back.
Man, Latavius Murray's been super efficient this year, but I'm going to go.
And Marlon Mack's been good, too.
Yeah, but Latavius had 24 carries or 23 carries for like 120 last week or something crazy.
Broncos. Who the hell do they play?
Who do they play?
Rams.
Their run defense is pretty stout. I'll go Pacheco as well.
Yeah, I'm Devonta and Pacheco there.
That could be matchup based, though, in my opinion. Those two.
I thought Latavius wasn't even going to play, and then that kind of worries me as well. That touches could be down.
I want him to suck this week, if that means anything. So.
Morning and happy holidays, gents. Trey, we appreciate you. Thanks for stopping by. He needs help in a full PPR. Start 1, Rashad White, Singletary, or Judy. Dulcich is my tight end. I could also grab Taysom instead of Dulcich. Thanks and good luck this week. I mean, I might risk it with Taysom over Dulcich.
Well, the Broncos don't even know which tight end to use on a weekly basis, right? Like it was Eric Tomlinson last week.
Eric Tomlinson, what the
right? I just have a feeling Singletary runs like crazy this week, and I don't know why. I think it's weather related, and I think it's Bears related, but I think he could just go nuts. Jerry Jeudy's been really good, but he's been really, really good when Sutton hasn't been in the lineup, and Sutton's supposed to play today. Taysom could run for 90 yards today or tomorrow or whenever the heck they play.
I think I go Singletary and Taysom.
I think I do too.
I'm going Judy and Taysom.
Can't argue that.
0.5 PPR. You guys rolling with Hawkinson or Andrews at tight end today? Sully.
I'm going to stick with Mark Andrews here. It's close. Hawkinson has slowly become like the 3rd, 4th option in our offense all of a sudden somehow.
But his target, 9 last week, 8 the week before, 6, 6, 9, 10, 9. Like, Well, I guess
but we also throw the ball 65 times a game, right? So everybody's targets look like that. Like, look at Osborne and Jefferson and Thielen and Cook. Like, they're all getting a ton of targets because
I need some people to go off in that game on the Giants.
We give up 400 yards a game. You're going to have to throw the football.
250 of them for Saquon, but I'm going to go Mark Andrews here as well. Hawkinson been pretty decent so far, but he's not doing anything spectacular. Mark Andrews has a similar floor and a much higher ceiling. Seems like at this point.
I'm gonna go Hawkinson here in a dome.
He's safer.
Good weather.
Sure. That's a good
all
point.
Those targets. I mean, it doesn't matter how many targets everybody else gets if you're gonna get 8 or 9, right?
Yeah, that's fair. That's why I was saying
volume.
That's a good point.
And like I said, in the dome.
You think they're going to try and get Justin Jefferson the single season title for yards? I could just see him get peppered.
They're just gonna treat Justin Jefferson like they do every week. The guy's averaging like 15 freaking targets.
I bet he wants that record.
Like, well, he's gonna get it. He's got time.
Oh yeah, it is an extra week too in there.
Right? He's gonna get it. I think that they partially want to get it for before the 16, but the reality is the Vikings are delusional and still think they can win the NFC, right? With Hurts going down and us being only a couple games back. So we'll see.
Steven says, happy Xmas Eve, fellas. Wide receiver 2 in shambles. Goodwin, Osborne, Cooks, Demarcus Robinson, Hollywood, or Richie James. Half PPR. Like Goodwin, but the ankle injury scares me.
I'm KJ Osborne here. I think we uncorked the lid on something there last week.
I think I'm going to agree with you. It would be Hollywood if Kyler Murray was playing, but it's Osborne for me as well. Seems like he's taking that number 2 role nicely.
I'm going Goodwin here.
That'd be my number 2
spot. Yeah, it's my second one too.
I'm letting the dome play a role in this one.
Does my mic sound like crap? For some reason, I'm getting a little feedback.
No, you sound fantastic as always, Rick.
Please help. Hurts owner starting Minshew, half PPR, 14 team start, 2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, 1 flex. DeAndre Hopkins, Devonta Smith, Slayton, Sutton, Palmer, Akers, Waller, Goddard. So
2 wide receivers, 1 tight end, and a flex. Is that what that says?
Yeah. So it's D Hop and D Smith easily at wide receiver for me.
Yeah.
Yep.
Okay. So now with the tight end, we've got Waller or Goddard.
I'm going Goddard.
I'm going Goddard as well.
Who do they play? The Raiders play today.
The Raiders are playing.
I know this, and I'm brain farting on the matchup right now.
Pittsburgh.
One moment, please.
Pittsburgh.
The Steelers tonight.
I think I'm just going to go both of them. One is a tight end, one is a flex.
I'm going Cam Akers over Waller.
I thought about that too.
I'm going Hopkins and Smith as the 2 wide receivers, Goddard as my tight end, and I'm going to flex.
I think I'm actually gonna. I would go Akers over Waller, but I think I'm going Slayton as my third here against the Vikings.
Exactly.
Dude was getting 9, 10, 11 targets. They're gonna have to throw a lot. Vikings are gonna score. So I think that's where I'm going with it.
It's exactly what I'm doing. Oh, sorry about
Jeff Fields in the house.
Jeff Fields.
1.
A lot of defense here.
Oh, wow.
Is this for him or a friend?
That's a valid question.
He'd be asking for a Jet or a Jaguar if it was his friend.
Start 1D, full PPR. Browns versus Saints, Cowboys versus Philly, Chiefs versus Seattle, Rams versus Broncos. He's leaning the Browns. The Saints have no Olave or Landry plus bad weather and 32 over under.
See, that's bad, though. because they're not going to throw the ball, and we don't want to play a defense against a team that's just going to run. And as we've been talking about, it could be 25 carries for Kamara and 15 for Taysom Hill with about 12 throws in there. That only gives you 12 plays to score fantasy points.
And he's not going to take any sacks either.
I'm going. I like the Chiefs D today. That's one of them that I've been plugging into some DFS lineups. I'm going to go with the Chiefs D.
I'm going to roll with the Cowboys. I think they can get home on Gardner Minshew, and I think that they can sack him a couple of times, and I wouldn't be stunned if he threw a pick or two, even though I think he'll play well. I think that he's going to throw the ball the most, I think, out of all these situations. So that creates opportunity. I'm going to go with the Cowboys.
I'm going to tell him to stick with what he's got with the Browns. I know that they don't have a lot of opportunity for sacks or interceptions, but you do get points for yards allowed and points allowed.
Yeah, that just doesn't give you a ceiling. That's the reason why I don't.
Yeah, sure doesn't get. I think it's the safest though of these options.
I want pick sixes, baby.
Nice. I love it when we give 3 different answers.
Dude, am I really?
Well, he was already leaning the Browns, so maybe I'll solidify his Browns.
Yep, you're right.
I didn't even know Chris Olave was out.
Yep.
Yeah,
and I am freaking.
He was ruled out early in the week too.
Yeah, like Wednesday, Thursday.
I don't even have enough wide receivers to start in the semifinals.
Isn't that such a lovely feeling?
Like right now, I had Tyreek Hill, Chris Olave, and Russell Gage in, if that tells you anything.
So who else you
got? Scotty Miller. Ben Skoranek. Nope, he's out.
He's out for the year.
Tyquan Thornton. Michael Gallup.
Is Myers playing this week, Bryce?
I would imagine.
Because he's been questionable.
It's Michael Gallup.
He might get benched for what he did. He's expected to play.
It's Michael Gallup, but I don't like I hate the matchup. Philly's corners are good, but we'll get away from me. We'll help him. So
it's Gallup. And what the hell was Jacoby Myers doing, Bryce?
Dude, that was the last leg of a 5-piece parlay I had. So I don't want to talk about it.
Ramondre was dumb for trying it, but at least Jacoby was right next to him, and he didn't try heaving it across the field backwards.
When Chandler Jones ran over Mac Jones, that's how I envisioned my career would be if I was an NFL football player.
poor Mac gets put in
poor guy, right? Like he just gets absolutely trucked.
Yeah, Jacoby just literally put Mac in a blender and hit the high button. PPR need 1 for wide receiver 3 and 1 for the flex. London, Richie James, Gabriel Davis, Rashad White, Goddard, Hawkinson is my other tight end. Thanks for the help this year, fellas.
Wide receiver and a flex. It's not Gabe Davis.
Really? Against Chicago?
Not in that weather, because Gabe Davis hits home runs or nothing, and 25-mile-an-hour winds. Even Josh Allen's going to struggle on that shit.
I'm going Gabriel Davis and Rashad White is where I'm going with this.
I'm going Drake London and Rashad White.
I think I'm going Goddard and White.
That was my next one. It was Goddard.
Ryan says, thanks, fellas. Thank you for coming by. Pick 3, running back 1, flex 2. Stevenson, Walker, Mostert, Algier, Devonta Smith, or DJ Moore. Stevenson and Smith are in there. And
Stevenson, Walker, Smith for me.
Yep. Bryce?
Yeah, Stevenson, Walker, easy. I was looking to see if Jeff Wilson Jr. was going to be listed as
supposed to play.
Yeah, so then it's Devonta Smith for me. But if he wasn't playing, Mostert would be somebody I considered over Devonta.
Yeah, you can run on the Packers for sure, eh?
He ran on the Bills.
Yeah, he looked pissed off too.
Yeah, he looks good when he's healthy. So that's the problem is he's never
fast, very fast.
Kmet, Dulcich, or Otten for Perry Williams.
I will lean matchup and take Otten against Arizona, who is easily the worst team in the league against the tight end.
I'm going to go with Dolchik.
I'm going Komet. It's
Why?
why am I going with Otten, who's splitting with Brait and the other? I don't even remember the guy's name, Keeve or whatever his name is.
He got you a
Dulcich-
catch a couple weeks ago. How disrespectful.
Dulcich is at least
One,
decent when Russ is out there.
I mean, Eric Tomlinson was the leader there in Chicago. I understand
Dulcich is a
weather,
myth.
whatever.
Dulcich is
but-
a myth.
Right now, it's Harry is the number one receiving option for the Chicago Bears, and they're going to have to throw. Buffalo's going to put up a bunch of points. Komet's going to get targets.
Claypool's not playing again. What's wrong with him?
No, his
Knee.
back or knee or whatever. Harry was a back. He was a knee. It's the Bears are decimated right now with injuries. Their defense, they cannot stop anybody. I don't even know that we have one starter on our defense that started as a starter this year. Jaquan Brisker and the two rookies.
You'll have 11 today.
No, but I'm saying that started as starters at the beginning of the year.
I know what you mean.
And we definitely don't have 11 because two of them aren't even on our team anymore.
No, but you'll have 11 starters today.
Well, yeah, but I'm saying I don't know how many of these guys started as starters. I think it was literally just the two rookies. All our linebackers are out. All our outside cornerbacks are out. Defensive lines decimated. It's bad. This is a bad defense.
It's good for your draft pick. It's perfect.
Well, it's good for fantasy if you have people on the other side.
Depends.
Full PPR tight end, Johnson or Schultz. I'm leaning Johnson, even with anticipated bad weather, with no Olave or Landry, Johnson should have plenty of targets. Plus, other Dallas tight ends are taking the points. This is Schultz.
This is Schultz by such a wide margin. I cannot emphasize it. If Juwan Johnson gets 0 points today, I will not be surprised.
Yeah.
0 targets, 0 points. I wouldn't be surprised. I want nothing to do with that offense. Unless it's Taysom or Kamara.
It is Schultz for me as well.
Luca Magic says Walker or Pollard in half PPR. Bryce.
I will go with Kenneth Walker.
I'll go Pollard here. I think he catches enough passes in that half-point PPR format over Walker that it sways it, but it's very close for me.
I'm going Walker here. I like Walker a lot this week. I feel like he's going to get more targets.
We're going to bet on this one too. I need to make my Tony Pollard bets.
Make him look better.
I will.
Yeah, I got to get back. Okay.
I'll take Mr. Walker. Cousins or Brady? Sully, you going with your boy here?
Without question.
Yeah.
You got to tell people who your boy is.
That's true. I'm going to go Cousins over Brady for a bunch of different reasons. Number one, Cousins is going to throw the ball a million times. And Brady just looks like he's 45 years old.
He's not good under pressure, and the offensive line can't keep him upright. So,
and he's down another O lineman this week. I can't remember what his name is, but he's out.
Yep. Cousins for me, easily.
Yep.
Tyler Pettit says, oh, I'm Cousins too, by the way. They said all the reasons. Happy holidays. Weird question, but this is where I am at. Superflex half PPR. Davis Mills, Juju, or Latavius Murray. Sully.
Davis Mills for me.
Bryce.
It's David. I'll go with the quarterback, Davis Mills, as well.
Dude, I so want to go Juju.
That's who I was about to pick, but
you beat the Titans through the air. And the Texans are going to beat the Titans.
Don't the Texans still play 3 quarterbacks?
Hopefully they play Jeff Driscoll this week, but I don't think so. They don't play 3. They kind of play 2, but Driscoll's been averaging like 2 or 3 attempts a week.
Davis Mills did have 25 points last week.
You have to throw the ball in the Titans, and that's what he'll do. He's got Brandon Cooks. He's got 2. He's got Chris Moore and Brandon Cooks. He can throw to Akins has been a decent tight end option for him. Titans are a mess right now.
Should I start Fields with weather or Dak against Eagles 4-point QB? So
4-point for passing touchdown, probably. Yeah.
Also, Kamara or Ken Walker in the flex. I'm I'm going Fields, and there's a big reason why. I don't know if you guys watched, but his press conference, they specifically asked him about the rushing record, and he said, well, I'm in this deep now. I might as well go get it. So his over-under is 82.5 rushing yards today. So I'm going Fields. That's a nice little number there on the ground. And again, the Eagles defense is tough. And, one of the top defenses in the league, tough to pass to the outside. And then I'm going Ken Walker over Kamara. Bryce.
It is Fields for me. Did you also see the press conference where he talked about like that guy? Did you hear him? He said it was like a 300-pound dude come in on my back, and he's like, pause.
Yo, yeah, he's talking about Sue. He's talking about Ndamukong and Sue.
He's like, pause, and started laughing.
Everybody,
and it's Kenneth Walker for me pretty easily at the flex.
Yeah, sweep it. I think that Fields runs all damn day.
He has to run 15 plus today and throw for 10.
He will have more attempts on the ground than he will through the air, and it might be 2-1.
I don't think that.
I think it'll be pretty even, but
I don't. Why are you throwing? Who are you throwing to, and why are you throwing the football in that crap when you can run?
Because you're gonna have to. You're gonna have to throw to keep up with Buffalo. You're not gonna have a choice. Buffalo ain't gonna do.
You keep up two different ways. You keep up by keeping the football and controlling the clock, and you do that by running the ball. I think the Bears will run the ton out of it today and try to slow it down. But you're gonna get the doors blown off anyway. But and it's Ken Walker over Kamara.
I think it'll be closer than people think today.
Well, the weather's a good equalizer, right?
They're going to run the ball a lot, but they're still going to throw 20, 25 times. So it's not going to be double the rushing. I'll put money on that he has more than 20 attempts.
I will too. I'll take $5 on
$5
under 20.
You guys can have that.
So 20 is a push. Anything over 20 or anything under 20?
Why don't you just set it at 20.5, or do you want 19.5?
19.5. I like 19.5 better.
Okay, I'll take the under on 19.5.
All right.
Let's go.
Okay, we answered that. Buffalo or Denver's defense?
Well, we've established that Chicago's not going to throw the football more than 19.5 times. So Denver against – I'm going to take the Broncos. Baker looks like Baker. I like the Broncos' ability to sack the quarterback and get some picks and probably a pick six. So I'll go with the Broncos.
Yep. I will also go to the Broncos defense.
I'll bet you that there is not a pick six.
I'm not betting that.
Well, you said probably. So
I said probably. I didn't say for sure.
I am going Denver as well, though, but I always try to get a free 5. Merry Christmas, boys. Good luck to y'all this fantasy playoffs. Tight end and flex question. PPR, I have Jefferson and Cook. Who to start? Hawk, Schultz, or Knox, Montgomery, Pacheco, Rashad White, Deion Jackson. Holy.
Tight end and a flex.
Hawkinson.
It's Hawkinson or Schultz. I don't think I want Dawson Knox.
It's Hawk and Montgomery for me.
Yeah, I think I'm with you.
Yeah, I'll go Hawkinson and Montgomery.
Browns or Eagles DST?
I'll take the Eagles.
I will also take the Eagles. Dak has been turning the ball over a lot this year.
He's thrown a ton of picks lately.
I will go Eagles as well. Perry says, how can they act like Smith's a must start with Goddard taking his work with Minshew starting?
What do you mean he's taking his work?
I don't know what that means.
He hasn't been taking his work all year.
I don't think Smith is a must start. It obviously depends on what your other options are. But the reality is that there's going to be volume there. And yeah, Goddard did look good with Minshew last year, but Smith was a rookie last year as well. So there's a lot to be said for what Devonta Smith's been doing in that offense, in my opinion, over the last couple of weeks. And Dallas Goedert's coming back from injury. I like him, but I would take Smith over Goddard.
You could argue Gardner has more of a relationship with Smith than he does A.J. Brown. He's going to target him more, but he's more familiar with him.
But
that's true.
The way they used Minshew last year was entirely different than the way they used Jalen Hurts. And literally Minshew was 3-yard passes, yak. 3-yard passes, yak. Even those Dallas got Sully, you can't do that.
I have to. 1 second.
You have to give a heads up, or else it messes everything up. I mean, I understand. I love Goddard. Goddard's one of my favorite tight end talents. I've been pumping him forever, but it's an entirely different team than it was last year, right? Last year, Jalen Reagor was getting targets for this team. Greg Ward was getting targets for this team. Travis Fulgham had some work.
I think you guys are both saying similar to what I'm thinking is that if anybody's hurt by Minshew, it's probably AJ Brown.
I would say that for sure.
Yeah, but I feel fine with all of them. I think you can start all three of those guys.
Oh, I'm not freaking sitting AJ Brown by any means
for sure. But
no, I didn't mean that you were sitting him. I just meant that I think all three of these guys are fine. I don't think that Goddard coming back hurts Smith.
Right.
I think it hurts more of the tertiary players, right? The running back targets, which are already kind of few and far between, and then your Quez Watkins and anybody else. Those guys are the ones that really get hurt by this, by Hurts being out. What I don't even know what's going on right now. I can't.
What is
the bottom guy?
Whose tight ends did terrible against Arizona last week? Okay, so who did Arizona play last week? Help remind me here, guys.
I don't remember. That was last week.
So this is the Cade Otton question. The Komet Otton whatever question.
He said tight ends did bad against
Arizona last week.
Arizona's been horrible against them against tight ends all year.
It was the Broncos, but I mean, they had a touchdown. The only touchdown through the air was a tight end.
And it was Tomlinson.
I was going to say Tomlinson had 13 points, and Dulcich had 7. They still scored 20 points.
Right. 2 points.
He only had 2.
Yeah.
Arizona,
how many did Tomlinson have?
I think he had 9 because
he
scored a touchdown.
He had 11.8.
11 points. So they scored 13 to 15 points, somewhere in that range.
So that's a valid point, right? So if Cade Otton is going to be splitting with, I don't know if Cameron Brate is alive and Ko Keefe and Kyle Rudolph and everyone else. So perhaps they take advantage of that situation with those tight ends and water it down. But it makes no sense whatsoever to get away from the Arizona Cardinals as a matchup for your tight end, in my opinion, because they have been, without a doubt, the worst defense against the tight end, not just this year, for the last 3 years. It's just the way they play football. So I'm going to roll that way. So that is what I mean, Perry.
The tight ends last week had 6 catches for 65 yards and a touchdown, if you count all 4 of them. So I wouldn't say the tight ends did bad. I would say no one tight end did great.
Right, and that's the only reason why I'm not going there with Tampa Bay, because I'm kind of worried about the same thing with Brate, Ko Keefe, and
I get it.
Cade Otton. I do like Cade Otton long term.
I get it, and I know that I'm a little bit down on Tom Brady, but he's a wee bit better than Brett Rippon as well.
That is valid as well.
A wee bit,
just a bit.
So Herbert's or Fields in a 5 points per pass touchdown.
I've never seen a 5 points per pass touchdown league before.
They just said we're going to go right in the middle. We're not going to pick a side. We're going to just go right in the middle.
I don't know what's going on with the Los Angeles Chargers offense, but it's crazy. Just sort of safe this year for some reason. And I'm going to go with Fields' running ability. And this one's tough for me. I'm going to go with Justin Fields, but it's super close for me.
Bryce.
I'm going to go Justin Fields. It's a little bit I comfortably. Herbert hasn't even put up over 20 the last 3 weeks, and I think Fields has put up over 20 all the last 3 weeks, if I remember correctly. So.
He was out one, so it's not the last 3, and he had a bye, but I think it's 8
straight. Last week's played.
What about the last 8? I think might only be under 20 in one of the last 8.
He hasn't put up under 20 since week 6 against the Washington.
Oh yeah, so 8 straight 20+ point games, right?
Yeah, 2 of them plus 40, I think.
For whatever reason, Herbert's not throwing the ball down the field, and perhaps his ADOT gets a little bit cannibalized by checkdowns to Eckler when you average them out. But he's not throwing the ball down the field. and I don't know why. The Titans game is delayed today, guys, due to power outages and cold weather and a whole bunch of other stuff. So,
what a crazy semifinal week, huh?
Yeah.
Chris Olave, I needed you.
It's okay, man.
Well, I do have Chig. I do like Chig a lot today.
No, you don't. With Malik Willis?
Malik Willis is going to throw for less than 10 times today. His pass attempts might be 10.5.
Malik Willis might throw the ball 5 more times than I do today.
He actually didn't look bad in his 4 attempts last week. Completed 3 of them, 20 yards, but
we're talking about
Michael Gallup over Chig.
Scott Miller, Michael Gallup, who has done shit, and Chig. And people, they're not going to throw 5 times. That's happened one time in history last year.
But you have,
and we won,
and they won. But I'll say, but again, you beat Arizona or you beat Houston by running the football. You have Derrick Henry, you have Malik Willis. Houston's been quite good against the pass all year long. So I don't like Chig. I don't like Robert Woods. I don't like anybody in that offense. I wouldn't even like him if Ryan Tannehill was the quarterback this week. So I really don't like it with Malik Willis. I'd go Gallup there pretty easily.
I'm going Field. I mean, it's definitely not easily. He has been doo-doo sauce. I love him.
He's the most likely to score, I think, of that crap sandwich you got going on.
Until Noah Brown scores 3 times.
That's true.
I'm going Fields there as well, though. Long way to get to that one. Last but not least, Schultz or Goddard.
Sorry to answer your question. I have to look at my rankings. This one's close.
I love this.
It's probably Schultz for me.
I love this since Eagles traded up right ahead of Dallas to take Goddard and block Dallas. Still love that.
It's Dalton Schultz for me, but
I'm going Goddard.
I'm going Goddard as well.
Cut.
With no Hurts, I have to start a QB.
Okay, so he's got to start.
Even with Hurts, you're going to have to start a QB. Pick one, Kirk Cousins or Danny Dimes. I'm leaning Cousins by a mile. I love this. Is this for your friend? I picked him up as soon as Hurts was questionable, but Jones has rushing upside.
Okay, so
sitting on the waiver wire.
Yeah,
I don't want to make this all about me again, but how come when I lose Jalen Hurts in 3 leagues, the best quarterback I can find is Jeff Driscoll, and people are picking up Minshew and Cousins?
I gave someone advice to start Zach Wilson when Hurts went down, thinking, well, he threw for 300 last week and 2 touchdowns. He should be able to do that again. At least it wasn't my team. I was like, the logic was there, the thinking, but
so yeah, that last one is Cousins over Jones as well for me. But they'll both probably be good.
Okay, we're gonna come back to this question since it's not actually fantasy, but we will come back to that. Let's answer Andre's because he's got the last actual question in the chat right now. Sit 1, CMC, nope. Stevenson, nope. Dobbins or Kenneth Walker. I think we've already had something similar because I think we're all starting CMC and Stevenson, right?
Yeah.
Okay, we can get that out of the way. I think we're playing Walker over Dobbins, right? I think we actually had that question earlier. I don't know if Bryce was here when we
we did. I picked Walker over Dobbins.
Yeah, it's that ability to catch 4 or 5 passes for sure.
And he's not sharing.
So, do we have any suggestions for a punishment for losing in the loser bowl? I mean, I could come up with a list. And actually, maybe we need to curate an article on ideas of we're going to do that. And
I hate this.
I'm not going to say anything else. But I mean, you can do the like normal stuff. Like for 1 year we had a license plate that you had to put on the front of your car. It was actually the frame. It came from B-Dubs when we did a draft, but you could actually do like a custom license plate and be like, just have it say like, I suck at fantasy football or something. And they have to put it on their car for a year. You could do that you have to stay at IHOP for 24 hours. Cause that worked out for the guy that did the video on that.
Jeez, I never saw that. I got to check that out.
Yeah. What ideas you got there, Sully?
I don't really like these. I think losing is bad enough for me. I don't really play in any leagues that have it. I've seen leagues where guys have to get a tattoo if they finish last. I've seen leagues where you duct tape the guy to like a freaking lamppost with nothing on and a sign covering his junk that says I suck at fantasy football. There's some pretty interesting ones out there, but I don't know. I think losing's bad enough. Bryce?
I liked one where this guy had to sit in a Waffle House for 24 hours. That would be horrible, especially around here.
24 hours is a long.
Waffle House, and he had to eat. He had to eat and tip like every meal. But yeah, he had to spend 24 hours in a Waffle House.
That's a long time to do anything.
Yeah,
we in one of my leagues. We used to do it every year, but it was all friends. We used to draft live and everything. But we had 1 year we were going to have the loser wear a dress, and it was all dudes in the league, and we were going to get a limo and go around to like bar hop. And
that'd be cool.
He backed out. After the guy that lost ended up backing out and wouldn't do it. But that's what we were going to do 1 year. But it's scaring people off. The tattoo stuff's too extreme. Like
it's crazy. To me, that's crazy. I think there was that show, The League. They used to have some pretty good ones on there. I'm just trying to remember which ones they had there.
Well, Marco, and he's from the future, says the loser has to eat 3 pounds of haggis. How about that? What is that? Do we know what
haggis? Haggis is nasty ass. I believe
it's nasty ass.
It's stomach lining. It's sheep's stomach lining, I believe.
It's made with sheep's pluck, which is apparently
stomach lining, isn't it?
Parts of the heart, liver, and lungs.
There you go.
Mixed with coarse oatmeal suet.
3 pounds? I'd rather get a tattoo, or
I think I'd rather get the tattoo,
or take a truck in the face than eat 3 pounds of haggis. I'd rather try to tackle Chandler Jones in midfield.
Yeah, I would have made that tackle, but whatever.
Well, he wasn't expecting to make that tackle, right?
Yeah, it is. Yeah. Oh, it said it's a sheep's colon.
Sheep's colon. Thought it was stomach lining for some reason, but no, I want nothing to do with that stuff, Marco. Thank you very much.
Pass on that grass. Jeff says the QB question is actually for me, not my friend. I was just giving you a hard time about your question.
We like to bug you.
Our non-rostered players are absolutely ridiculous. That's the problem with an 8-team.
Oh, 8-man. That makes sense.
Even in an 8-team league, I'm surprised Cousins isn't at least a backup somewhere. I guess there's no reason to carry a backup quarterback.
Yeah, and that's a league where it's less likely to carry a backup than in
that's
a 12
true.
team,
That's true.
Right? So, I agree there. Hey, I dropped a poll. If you're still here, I know I should have dropped this earlier, but do you want a Boomer Bust episode tomorrow morning after we get these 10 games in? We got 3 more tomorrow. I'm available on Christmas morning, so if enough people say yes, then I will consider going live. I don't have anything going on. My Christmas is this afternoon. Anthony wants to know, though, Mark Andrews, Knox, or Juwan Johnson to start. I think we're all going to go Mark Andrews here, right?
Yep.
It is. But I will say it again, like it's just crazy because there is a question now. We went from Mark Andrews being the number 2 tight end on the board to
is he still the number 2 tight end this year? Like, is anybody past him?
I'll tell you. I think I believe he still is. Like, he's got 8 top 12 weeks.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but that's like saying
I get it.
I just wouldn't be surprised like maybe
that's like saying a chick's one of the top 12 hot chicks at a community college versus a D1 Power 5 school.
Why? She doesn't have to be. I gotta stop talking. Never mind. He is tight end 3. TJ Hawkinson is tight end 2.
Okay.
Actually, I apologize. They're tied. Points per game, Andrews is more than Hawk because he's missed a game, right? So he's only played 13 games. Hawkinson's played 14. They both have 164 PPR points. But, just below Kelsey at 278.
But my point is the past. So where has he been? Let's look since week 11.
I'll tell you right now.
Well, I've got it up too. So week 11, he drops all the way to 10, only averaging 8.5 points per week since week 11. So that's why I say that it's at least a question right now on whether Mark Andrews is startable, right? Juwan Johnson in that stretch has averaged 12 points for only 3 games.
I get it, but
Noah Fant averaged more points than him in that
I think you
stretch.
have to. You're not
it's
wrong,
at least a
but
question.
But again, we talk about where you drafted guys and why you drafted them there. This is your playoff semifinals. Weather is
I agree. I'm starting
in
him.
tons of places. Yeah, I'm just saying I don't think the Juwan Johnson comparison is relative, especially this week.
Christian Watson or Isaiah Pacheco, full PPR.
Oh, another one Sully got right last week.
Who'd you pick?
Well, he would have had a touchdown, except for it was like clear passing interference.
Well, no, he would have had a touchdown if he'd have turned around and looked for the
that's
target.
Another one. He could have had 2 very easily in that game.
But regression came for him just like it always does. That said, I'm going to take Christian Watson here.
Well, yeah. I mean, okay.
What?
I'm going Christian Watson as well.
I mean, yeah.
Well, I just love when you're like regression on somebody that scored 8 touchdowns.
Right, and that was the whole reason why I've been dogging him for 2 to 3 weeks.
Right,
and hey,
like,
2 of those weeks I was wrong.
I'm just saying, like, that's like obvious.
Every wide receiver is going to have eventually a bad game. Yeah.
Well, and a bad game is not
8 points.
A bad game for him is not scoring 2 or 3 touchdowns, right? So, like, would I be surprised if he scores a couple of times this week? Not at all.
What'd you say, Bryce?
I will go Christian Watson. He's going to go 6 for 100 and not get a touchdown. It'll be a good game.
Yeah,
they're
not exclusively separated there.
Here, I can pull this up. I got it. We missed one of his questions. It's right here.
Oh, I did miss this. My bad, Jeff. I apologize. We try to go in straight order, and I missed this. Good morning, gentlemen. Merry Christmas. Start 1 wide receiver, 1 flex, and a full PPR. McKinnon, Evans, Cooper, Christian Watson. I'm leaning Watson and McKinnon. I'm projected to lose 111 to 121, so I need upside. And I think that this is exactly what I was going to say was Watson and McKinnon here. Evans, like, just isn't there right now. Cooper, bad weather game with a quarterback that's still finding his way. Watson's going to get red zone targets, whether he turns around for them or not, I don't know. But I'm going to go Watson and McKinnon here. Bryce?
I'm on board with those 2 as well.
Absolutely. I don't know how you don't. So what the hell?
I think we might have missed the 2 questions above that one too.
Really? Let me go up here.
I think you just went to the other super chat and went down from there. That's what I think happened.
I missed what's in the middle there, huh? Brady on ice says pick a flex full PPR. I'm so sorry, Brady. And we've got Marco up next. I apologize for missing these in between the super chat. So we will get them now. I hope you're still here. Brady on ice says pick a flex full PPR, Waddle, Lamb, and Kamara. Sully.
Jeez.
Wow. I want to see the rest of your team. Lamb for me.
Waddle for me.
Waddle for me as well. And then Marcos. Sorry again, Mr. Marcos Valdez. Brady or Minshew. Also Kamara, Hopkins, Pittman, and Dobbins. Half-point PPR. Start 1 of those. So Brady or Minshew first.
Minshew for me.
Minshew for me.
Minshew for me as well. Kamara, Hopkins, Pittman, or Dobbins. Half PPR.
What a world that we're starting Gardner Minshew or Tom Brady. Let that sink in for a second. Kamara, Hopkins, Pittman, Dobbins. It's Hopkins or Pittman for me. I don't know which one. I'm going to go with Hopkins. Still. Hopkins.
Yeah, he's the safest play. I'll go with Hopkins.
I'm going to go with who I actually think is the safest play and go with Dobbins here. Half PPR. The eye test and the stat sheet don't like correlate for me right now because Dobbins doesn't look
great.
Do what?
He looks great to me.
Really?
I think so. Yeah,
he still looks like he's favoring that knee to me. Doesn't have the top end speed that he has had. I just don't think the eye test and the stat sheet just don't match for me, but he's producing, and that's what we want here. And I feel like he gives you the floor with Hopkins and Pittman, both with backup third string quarterbacks, guys that weren't even on rosters. I'm going to go Dobbins here, and Dobbins and Minshew. And Joseph says, Rick, you always preach start your studs, so Bengal players wouldn't be included in who to start. Yeah, because we're going to sit them and start the studs over there.
Joe Mixon's going to have a bad week.
Look at this.
That day.
Marco from the future. I don't even know how this could be $1 million US, and I wouldn't even know.
Good amount. It's a good amount.
But I really, really appreciate it. Frolic walking knocking. Is that Merry Christmas?
I'm assuming that's their version of it.
Probably will Ricky hate me for this, but what is the difference between Marty McFly and a Bears fan? Eventually, Marty McFly stopped going back to 1985.
That's
Listen,
awesome.
I've heard this one before. And
that is pretty good.
I will say that it is good, but Ricky's looking to the future, baby. We finally have our quarterback.
Who's Marty McFly? No, I'm just kidding. I know back.
We were about to boot. We were about to boot him. He was about gone.
I almost got out of my chair. Like I was half up. I was ready to scrap.
Have you guys ever watched the Curb Your Enthusiasm with him in it?
No, I
it's so funny.
Larry David.
Really? He's got I can't even think of the actor's name that plays Marty McFly.
Michael J. Fox.
Michael J. Fox has
put some respect on that name.
Yes, but he is so funny in the couple episodes he's in because he's got the Parkinson's. So he's like confusing the Parkinson's. He's like, were you shaking your head at me or was it a Parkinson's shake? And he was obviously shaking his head at him, but he's blaming it on the Parkinson's, and he starts annoying him on purpose and keeps blaming it on the Parkinson's. It's really good. He's really good in it. It's funny.
Yeah, Michael J. Fox is a legend. He's good. You're a little bit younger there, Bryce, but Michael J. Fox was a huge part of my youth, right? Like whether you're talking about Teen Wolf, whether you're talking about Back to the Future, one of my favorite movies, and I can't remember the name of it off the top of my head, was with him and James Woods, where Michael J. Fox is an actor who is researching a role. James Woods is what was the name of that one? I don't remember the name of that one.
Like a convenience store clerk or something, isn't he in that?
No. He's an actor that is researching a role as a cop, and
it's a cop.
The Hard Way.
Yeah, The Hard Way. Yep, with James Wood, Michael J. Fox. Michael J. Fox was a big part of my youth. He was very, very funny. Michael J. Fox show when I was a teenager. Really sad because there was a lot more Michael J. Fox to get if it wasn't for that Parkinson's.
You know, what's not to go totally off topic here, but take a look and Google what Michael J. Fox has raised in terms of dollars for Parkinson's. It will blow your mind. The amount of money he's just totally shifted from being one of the greatest actors of all time to being one of the greatest philanthropists for his cause. So pretty cool. And he's Canadian. Just throwing that out there.
I only know him from Back to the Future, but I've seen them all.
Okay, you got to watch Teen Wolf.
I've heard of Teen Wolf. I watched the newer one and didn't like it, so I didn't even like it.
No, you got to watch the older one, especially now because it's kind of campy because it doesn't hold up and
it's one of those that's so bad it's good, but he's really good in it because then they did Teen Wolf 2 and it was Kirk Cameron instead of Michael J. Fox and it was absolute trash.
So then it was Bateman in the third one. I thought Bateman was Teen Wolf in the second one.
You're right. It was Jason Bateman, not you're right. Yeah, I'm wrong, but it was trash.
Yeah, definitely not the first one. I mean, there's more Michael J. Fox that we're missing here that you need to watch. $1 billion.
Isn't that crazy?
Michael J. Fox has raised $1 billion for the foundation.
Isn't that insane?
Largest nonprofit funder of Parkinson's disease research in the world, with more than 1 billion of research projects to date. That's not just money raised. That's money put into actual projects. So, the money is being spent where it's at. Let's see.
That
we're
Titans
just-
game
we're
got
just
pushed
bullshitting.
back to 2:02.
Yeah, I just saw that. Power outages.
What a weird time.
Why not just 2? Why not just 2?
Or the 2:05 would at least make some sense because they always do like that 4:05 kickoff. Like,
Right, but 2:02 is weird.
yeah, that's so strange.
I watched. I was trying to find something to watch last night, and I couldn't find anything. So I just watched Deadpool. My God, I could watch that movie 1,000 times.
I might watch both of them. I might watch both of them
Have you guys
tonight.
checked out Murderville at all on Netflix?
It's too dumb for me.
I struggle a lot with it.
I'm not.
The Christmas one was funny with Bateman, but
I can't stand. What's his name? The main dude in it.
I mean, his name's Terry Seattle in the show.
Right, but who's the actor? Is it? I can't remember his name, but I just really don't like him.
I mean, it's fun. It gives me like it seems like I'm watching Saturday Night Live kind of feel to it because everything's like, I mean, they're scripted, but
did you see the Marshawn? Did you see the Marshawn Lynch version of that?
Yeah, I thought he'd be funnier, but
That's why I watched it.
I thought it was.
That's
okay.
the reason why I tried that show.
How did he not get the killer? Like, I don't understand. Marshawn had the easiest one to get the killer, and he still got it wrong.
I love how Marshawn Lynch for his entire career wouldn't say shit to anybody, and now he'll like. He's an awesome interview. He's like good on shows. Like, I love that guy.
I hope he still does stuff because didn't he get in trouble recently with the DUI?
Oh, did he?
Yeah, he was videotaped in, or there was like the body cam of a DUI, and he was definitely shouldn't have been behind the wheel of a car.
That's unfortunate.
Yeah, Casualties of War was good, Marco. It's been a long time.
Was that a Michael J. Fox movie as well?
Movies, but I still need to see some older ones. I'll like watch ones a lot of people quote. Like,
What's an older movie for you, Bryce? One that was made in like 2000,
90s.
Man, Good Will Hunting. I feel like people quote those movies a lot, so I'll like.
Have you seen Good Will Hunting?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Because that's one of the greatest movies I've ever seen.
I just watched that not too long ago.
It's probably one of my favorites after watching it. I was like, because Robin Williams is like, he got a bunch of awards for like best supporting actor, and it might be one of the best supporting actor roles I've ever seen.
That movie's fantastic.
Yeah, I'm not really a big Matt Damon fan either because I feel like in all of his movies he gives himself like some sort of freaking freak ability. It's like, all right, dude,
True.
You're not that great.
Yeah, I'm Jason Bourne.
Yeah,
and I can do math problems in my head that are complex that a computer can't do.
Yeah.
I just love the cocktail napkin with the girl's phone number on it and the line. Do you like apples? How about them apples? That's one of the greatest.
So that's why I watched it because everyone always quoted that. So I was like, I gotta do this movie so I can understand these quotes.
I want to know if this is Kurt Warner's alias Curtis Warner.
Curtis Warner.
Pick 2 full PPR: Christian Watson, Terry McLaurin, Leonard Fournette. So we're sitting one of these. Are we sitting McLaurin with the bad matchup?
I think so. I am. I feel like
I'd sit Fournette here. I think.
I
just think Heineke will pepper McLaurin.
I think that he's going to have to. I think that's the one guy they'll take away. I think if anybody does good for Washington, it'll be like the number. It would be Samuel or Dotson.
I feel like Samuel's in the best spot, like matchup wise.
Yeah.
But
they use him so weirdly though. Like they were using him a lot to run inside last game, and it was awful. Like he's not an in between the tackles runner, and I didn't know why they kept giving him those inside handoffs, but. I think I'm going to go with McLaurin. I think he gets targets and can probably score if anybody's going to score in that game for them.
But if you are Kurt Warner, we would love you to join the team for quarterback evals. That would be great.
Yeah, he's all right.
Man, 78% of the 9 votes say yes for a show tomorrow, so I may have to figure that out. I'm not going to commit to it yet, but I may. If I do, it'll probably be like from noon till 1. Especially if I'm by myself, I'm not gonna do 2.5 hours by myself. I'll lose my mind.
Will not be able to.
Yeah, I won't do it either tomorrow. Got some other stuff going on.
Oh yeah, that 100% fine. I don't expect anybody to do it, but I don't have anything going on.
I do love that we have a shit ton of degenerates in here though that want to show tomorrow. That's awesome,
Yeah.
and I'll probably fire it up and check it out.
I figure people will be like, get me away from my kids. Let me watch something.
Right?
Before
By that
football
time, it'll be enough, right? You've been through
Yeah,
How
all
many
the
games
shit.
are on tomorrow? 3 or 4?
3 tomorrow, I think.
three?
Right?
3, yeah. It's like a 1, a 4, and an 8. Okay.
I think so.
Yeah, I figured
Yeah.
pretty much.
Packers Dolphins, followed by Broncos Rams, and then wrap it up with Buccaneers Cardinals.
So the first game's good at least. So
I like how the NFL sends me a text message and says,
Just you?
well, I mean, it's personalized to me, but it's not just to me, I'm sure. But it says, Ricky, unwrap the gift of 14 action-packed games all weekend long. Cool. So the same gift you gave me last week, huh?
Hey,
glad we're unique this week.
So NFL Sunday Ticket in Canada is run through a website called DAZN. So I just pay my subscription there, and I have every NFL game, regardless if it's a Thursday night, a Sunday night, whatever. So I see that they've gone away from DirecTV and it's going to YouTube. That's a good thing, isn't it?
They're probably the same price.
But accessibility is way easier, right?
I think that it is. I think that it is a good thing. DirecTV is going out. They literally, obviously they're doing away with all their dishes, trying to go to streaming, but they're behind the ball in that. YouTube's way ahead of them in that regard. Fubo TV, Hulu Live, they're way down the list on live TV providers from a streaming service standpoint. So I think it's a lot better for NFL fans for sure.
I would say it's better. I wouldn't say accessibility is more because DirecTV's got cable, like you can have a box or whatever, where now YouTube TV, you have to, it's only streaming, like, right? They don't do.
But that's where we're going to be in probably.
Well, yeah, I know. But I'm just saying
5 to 10
people,
years, like,
for older people who maybe just like they're used to their cable box and that's what they do.
Hey, I'm 50, almost 53 years old, and I stream all of my content.
Yeah,
so.
I know Spectrum around here, like when you try and sign up for them, they almost make it the price outrageous if you want cable boxes in your house. Like they're trying to just go to streaming because they'll charge you like $20 per cable box you want to put in your house. But for internet and streaming package, it's $80 a month.
But streaming is also a lot easier for older people to troubleshoot, right? Because you don't have those boxes and the issues that you have with boxes. It's even tough for me to troubleshoot that stuff sometimes. And I grew up with all the technology. It's I think it's a benefit, and I think it's a lot easier. Only thing you got to know how to troubleshoot is your internet at that point, and have a login, and you should be good. So
you just got to either buy a smart TV or make sure you got like a Roku or an Amazon Fire Stick.
Fire Sticks are awesome, yeah. I have both Smart TV and Fire Stick and the Nons, and they work great.
Yeah, it'll be good for me.
Marco says the best scene in Good Will Hunting is where the cameraman starts shaking because Robin Williams making him laugh so much. Is that the scene where he's talking about his wife farting in her sleep? Because I think that's one of the funnier sections of the movie. But such a good. I just watched it probably a month and a half ago. So good, so good. All right, just before we get there. Ooh, Marco giving you a compliment there. Thought you were much younger.
53 tomorrow, by the way.
Oh.
Merry birthday, Christmas.
Yeah. I knew that. I knew this Christmas.
I remember it now. Not that I forgot you, Sully. But
it don't matter. It don't matter. It used to be my game was, I wonder what time everybody's going to remember it's my birthday. It's usually about 2:00. People are like, "Oh shit, happy birthday!" But like, "Yep, thanks."
Here, I got you a gift. This happened to be your Christmas one.
Exactly.
So, this guy is pissing me off, and then I get a stupid notification. I think he's just trying to rub it in. Merry Christmas from Northern California. We're from Canada, Indiana, and Ohio. Full blown snow, wind chill, cold, and then he's got to throw in Northern California just so we know that it's
you get some snow and chilly in NoCal, though, don't you?
Yeah.
Like if you're in like San Fran areas and stuff.
-30?
Not -30, but
no, you can't walking outside hurts right now.
Yeah, that's
like, oh, jeez.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. But Cameron, Merry Christmas. I'm assuming you got a question if you're stopping in here. If you don't, we appreciate you stopping by and chatting. We're just kind of chatting movies and stuff right now.
Bryce, what you asked?
What temperature is it for you right now?
It's actually, Rick and I were talking right when we came on. We're about the same temperature wise, but we've warmed up considerably. Like we were minus 40-ish with the wind chill factor. So interesting thing with Canada being in Celsius and the US being in Fahrenheit, it gets to a certain point. I think it's around minus 38-ish where they equal out. And it's kind of like they just decided it doesn't matter what it is anymore. Like stop doing the conversion. But yeah, it's been super ass cold, but it's warming up to almost, it'll be like mid 30s this week coming up.
Yeah, we're getting to 50. We'll be in the 50s this weekend.
We won't get there.
Negative 33 with the wind chill last night, with the wind chill, not actual temperature. And then 51 on Thursday or whatever day it was. Like
right.
48 for us in here in Ohio. Friday's 53, Saturday's 57.
Congratulations in the Midwest. You don't know what season it is.
That's why people get
anytime.
sick. People get sick so bad over here because the weather is just changing like 40 degrees within a matter of 5 days.
It is
degrees.
It is definitely crazy being from here. Literally an 80-degree swing in 6 days.
Yeah.
2 questions here: Pollard or Walker, and Pittman or Watson.
Did I have
Bryce?
Pollard earlier in a bet on this one?
You have, yeah. You can't. We both. Rick
Okay,
and I.
because I don't want to go against that.
Yeah. And then Watson or Pittman. I'm going Pittman.
Well, we gotta make sure we still tell them.
Oh yeah, Walker.
Who's new in here.
Yeah,
I have Walker. Bryce
have
has Walker. Sully has Pollard. Okay, now Pittman or Watson. Sully.
Watson for me. I'm the flip side of my last week Watson this week. I think he's going to have a nice week.
I'll go Pittman, but if you need upside, I could definitely see Watson in your lineup instead.
I'm going Pittman as well. I'll stick with those indoor games this week and
good call.
And close calls. 7 degrees Celsius here and no snow as usually here.
7 degrees Celsius is nice. So that'll be, I will guess, at about mid to upper 40s, not quite 50s. 7's not bad. I'd kill for 7 right now. See what it is here.
Oh, yeah? So it's like 40s?
I think so.
Yeah, isn't it like 32 plus?
32 is 0, yeah.
Yeah. I knew that.
Gotcha. Gotcha.
So
your freezing point is 0. Ours is 32, which is
right. So currently where I'm at, it is 3 degrees Fahrenheit, feels like -8, and that's warmed up. So, and it's a weather show. -16 Celsius feels like -22. So that's the difference.
We've covered a lot of stuff today. We've covered football. We've covered movies. We've covered specific actors and philanthropy. We've covered
80s movies.
We've covered and 90s. Some of those were 90s. We have covered the conversion of Celsius to Fahrenheit. We have. If you have not learned something today, you've tuned into the wrong show. It was not the Boomer Bust show.
Or you're just really, really smart. You already know.
45. So
he says a whopping. Well, it's 45 degrees warmer than it is here.
So snow is definitely in the possibilities, right? Because it's 45. It's 8 o'clock in the morning. So he could have some overnight lows of like around 30s and have some.
Oh, you just mean in general, not with.
Yeah.
I thought you were saying it's 45. It could snow, and I'm like, no, that's not how it works.
No, not at 45. But his low temperature could be 31 and see a mix of sun and rain.
But it's not negative 33.
No, it's not. But it's still festive for the season.
The point, Sully, was that I'm jealous that I'm not in Northern California instead of Northern Indiana right now.
Yeah, but you probably don't pay the taxes that they pay.
Well, yeah, I just want to be there. I didn't say I want to live there. I just want to be there.
Go on another vacation, bro. Go see Leone.
If that's not a vacation. Just like the last one wasn't a vacation. Going to Vegas is not a vacation. I don't care what anybody says. That is less relaxing than my normal day to day.
That is very true.
I do need to go.
But more exciting, right?
I mean, it is more exciting. It is a lot of fun, but it's not like you come back like refreshed when you come back from Vegas. You
Yeah.
come
You
back
need,
and you're
you
like,
need a vacation from your vacation.
yes. And I was there for 9 days on the
That's
strip.
way too long in Vegas.
It was not a vacation. It was fun.
I can't even take a
It's
vacation
a lot of fun.
that long. Not
3 days.
after day
3
5.
days in Vegas.
I'm like, come on, I need to go home.
Well, there was an extra 2 days because our flight got canceled as we were in the terminal, and we thought we were boarding the plane, and they told us, nope, you're going back to Vegas. I said, oh shit. It's already been too expensive. Do what?
They pay for your stay though when that happens, don't they?
No. They refunded us and gave us $200 credit to use at Allegiant, and we're like, no, we're never flying you again. I want $400 in cash that I can spend anywhere, not $200, because they didn't even pay for our other plane ticket or nothing. It was not a good situation.
Oh, we got more questions. Oh, well, just one more.
Okay, Cameron, who should you flex? Amari Cooper, Slayton, or Herbert for Chicago?
Hubbard. I bet that's Hubbard.
Chuba?
Oh, Chuba. Yeah, if it's Chuba, yeah, that makes a difference.
Yeah, it could be Khalil Herbert.
It could be.
Cameron, can you clarify that one for us? And then Curtis Warner says, not that Kurt Warner, but would gladly do some QB analysis. If that's true,
We'll take it.
Tis, go ahead and shoot me an email at info@rotoheat.com and we will have a chat. Or DM me on Twitter. But I will say that I do miss those. Or actually, the other thing we can do here is drop the old Discord link in here, or you can hit me up on the Discord. Welcome. Never. If we have another question, you can move to it there, Bryce.
Marco, can you clarify your question you just asked if it's super flex or non super flex? But let's see. Cameron said full PPR, but he didn't say anything. And then
So just answer it as both. So go back to the Cooper, Slayton, Hubbard,
okay,
and then do it as Cooper, Slayton, Chuba, and
Herbert.
Herbert.
Yeah, just add both of them into the question.
And it's Slayton for me, regardless of who the back is.
yeah, I'm gonna probably go Slayton as well. I like Amari Cooper more, just the weather
And quarterback.
and the
Watson. Yeah, like there's nothing
Watson's
going.
getting, like, from the eye test, Watson's getting better each week, which is good.
Yeah, but he started it, oh my God, he's brutal, to now he's looking like crap. Like he's getting better, but he's gonna need
I think he'll be okay.
I mean, let's be fair though. We're also comparing him right now to Daniel Jones, who isn't actually, it's not like he's great.
Yeah, I'm comparing him to who he was. I think that's my biggest problem.
Yeah, definitely can't expect who he was at this point of the game. Maybe next year, but I didn't even get to answer that, and
Where was it?
If it's Herbert, I may go Herbert. I mean, people don't realize he was 11th in the league in rushing, splitting in the backfield. We've talked about, the Bears running the ball all day long. He'll be a big part of that. But I do think I'm going to go Slayton again, indoors against Minnesota, who is not stopping people on defense right now. And Slayton could have 15 targets today if the Vikings offense starts out as well as they played in the second half of that game against the Colts last week. So I will go with Slayton as well. And then
one QB.
Yep.
Wow. I don't even know if I know 5 guys off the top of my head right now.
I will say that I can't give you 5. I do know that Bijan is my number 1 in this format.
Yeah.
I know that
I can give him 5. I can give him 5. I think we'll probably go, but at least 3 or 4 of them will definitely be top 5. I think in most one QB.
I think there's going to be a lot of moving and shaking as stuff plays out in this class.
Yeah, I think right now though, with not landing on a team, you could put Bijan easily number 1, like by
he's going to be the number 1
by a country mile. Like when
There's a big gap. It's like the Saquon or
I was going to
Zeke,
say
right?
he's like Saquon this year,
So
right?
so I don't know if you've done a ton of research, but he is the highest touted running back coming out of college since Saquon Barkley.
Yeah.
So, and then I think in any order, you could probably put 3 wide receivers and then another running back with Jackson Smith and Jigba, Jordan Addison, Quentin Johnson, and then Jahmyr Gibbs. You could probably argue, maybe there's some other running backs in this class that you could maybe replace Gibbs with, but I think that those 3 wide receivers are kind of separated from the rest of the pack right now. And then you kind of put in Gibbs as like that number 2 running back, arguably.
Bryce, my research is really.
Go ahead.
Oh no, I'm sorry.
No. I was just going to say there was a running back who was coming out last year. We thought was going to come out last year.
Zach Charbonnet.
That's the one.
Yeah.
Like he's the guy I think that people might sleep on a little bit, but I haven't had a chance to look at this class enough.
I was going to say my research is limited. That's what I was getting ready to say. I do like Kendre Miller, quite a bit, but I'm a little worried about the top end talent of the wide receiver class. I think that we're actually going to see a couple. I think we'll see Gibbs go number 2 quite a bit in rookie drafts, at least as this process starts. Like I said, Kendre Miller, I like. I right now, Jackson Smith and Jigba is my number 1 wide receiver in this class. I've liked him for quite a while, and we're kind of getting that Jamar Chase effect where, in his final season, we haven't seen him a lot, and we didn't see Jamar Chase at all because he sat out. And you get to a point where you're such a good prospect. We've seen this with Trevor Lawrence too, right? In the off season after his final college season, everybody was looking for everything that was wrong because we already knew he was good, but it became where we knew what the good things were. Now, what can we find that's wrong? Same thing with Justin Fields, right? Those 2 guys were so good for so long. We're seeing that with Jackson Smith and Jigba, I think. I think everybody's trying to just point out what's wrong because we knew how good he was. And we're not getting that with Addison and Johnston because they haven't been as touted throughout their entire careers as Jackson has been. But
yeah, JSN was better than both wide receivers, Olave and Garrett Wilson last year.
I know, it's crazy. It's kind of like the year in LSU where when everybody was still there with Justin Jefferson and Terrace Marshall and Jamar Chase. It's just some of those teams are just freaking loaded. So good tight end class this year as well. I think there'll be a couple of decent tight ends as well. I can't remember guys' names, but I believe there's Notre Dame has got quite a nice tight end this year.
Michael Mayer.
That's it. Yeah.
I think so. He's not the same as Pitts, but I think he's just as good of a college prospect, a rookie prospect as Pitts in the sense because Mayer is both a blocker, very, very, very good receiver, but he's also got that big size, more Gronk style size and speed combo.
Super athletic.
Yeah, he's super athletic too. Not like Pitts. Pitts is a freak in that regard. He's a wide receiver playing tight end, and Michael Mayer is actually a tight end that can block and do everything that you want him to do in that regard as well. But as we say, that sometimes can be a hindrance. We see it with Kittle being very inconsistent because when he has to block, he can't catch passes.
Totally.
OJ Howard, big prospect that TJ Hawkinson for a lot of his Detroit career had to block a lot. So it can also be a hindrance from a fantasy perspective. But I think as a pro tight end, he's every good as bit of a prospect as anybody that's come out in the past 10, 15 years.
I really struggle on these classes because it looks like the running backs are the guys at the top, right? And similar to last year with Breece Hall and Walker were in 1 QB leagues. We're probably 1-2 in the vast majority of them. I struggle in those situations because as a guy with one of those 2 picks, the last thing I want is a running back. You know what I mean? Like I want a wide receiver or something else. So I'd be trying to trade the hell out of those picks all day long. But if Bijan is Saquon, that's tough to move, right? Like that's very tough to move. So
yeah, but it's so easy to find running back replacements in fantasy, like
and real life.
People act like it's hard, but I've been playing very, very. I've skimped on running back for years, and it's really worked out to my benefit. I try to find the value and I try to load up on a bunch of second tier running backs, and they all get opportunities, and it's so easy to find replacements. I mean, obviously it's hard to find replacements for the Saquons, the Dalvin Cooks, but
you could have drafted Breece Hall with your 101 this year and picked up Zonovan Knight off of waivers, and
still be in line the draft number 1 this year.
Exactly. And I know that it's an extreme, but that's the nature of this beast. Like
Chubb or Walker? Sully.
Nick Chubb has not been very good lately. Format matters a lot here because Chubb does not catch much of anything. And, he's that kind of running back that can go for 90 yards and get you 9 points. So I'm going to go with Walker here.
I'm also going Walker.
I'm going Walker as well. Marco says, is Sean Tucker any good? I haven't dug in much into Tucker. I do know that he made the first round of both of our drafts. I think he was the 12th pick in both of our mock drafts that we've dropped so far. But I personally can't give you a lot of information on most of the rookies, deeper than the guys that have been big names for a few years.
That'll be my New Year's kickoff. That's what I'm going to be doing.
Yep. We are going to be dropping a bunch of rookie stuff here.
Marvin Harrison's kid, is he out this year or no?
No, he's got one more year.
No, he would be,
because he's freaking good, man.
He's better than Smith and Jigba.
Yeah, he'd probably be a top 8 pick if he was coming out this year.
If anybody's playing in Devy leagues, I'm sure he's already
top 8
rostered,
NFL, but not rookie drafts.
No,
top 8 NFL.
He is going to be lights out.
He'd be the number one. He's going to be the number 1 wide receiver taken next year. I think next year he's draft eligible. So
really,
Cameron says Cameron says he's picking Slayton. We confirmed, and then he says Field or Prescott, and I think we already had this one, right? Or we had Justin. That was Justin Herbert that we had.
I think we had this one too.
We
all
went
on
Fields. Yep. All of us went Fields. Look at that. We've had Kurt Warner. We've got Jimmy G. We've had all the quarterbacks stopping by today to get our. He's telling us Minshew's going to ball out today, which is good. I need him in SFB. Looks like some good stuff in the profile picture.
Yeah, he's in California, so I guess he could have it.
Jimmy G. How's Jeff Driscoll going to do today? Asking for a friend.
He says, I don't know, but Brock Purdy's going to ball out. When will Easton Stick get a chance?
I don't think he will, sadly enough.
And Jimmy G said, okay, so before making fantasy football decisions, make sure to take less of what you've got in that profile picture. Make sure to use less of that.
Is that weed?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yes, it is. Because Minshew is, I think he's going to be fine today, but he's not taking Jalen Hurts' job. So
let me ask you this.
Fun story.
He's a free agent at season's end. Does he start for somebody next year?
I don't think he starts for anybody. I think that I've always been, Minshew is a serviceable backup quarterback, probably one of the best backups in the NFL, but I don't think that he's good enough to be a consistent starter in the NFL.
He could be a transitional for like a Carolina or a Houston.
I mean, he could, but then he probably does what, Trubisky did and starts 4 games and they give the rookie the job and then he starts if the rookie struggles or whatever. But he's definitely a fun story. He's somebody that's fun to root for because of his personality and everything, showing up to Dallas in full Maverick Top Gun attire and the mustache and the mullet and the all the funny stuff that he does. Very fun to root for, but I don't think he's taking that job. And Jimmy G says, I live in San Francisco. But Sack here every week needs help. Semifinal question, Tua or Fields?
Sully. I'm Tua here, but they're back to back in my rankings.
I'm going to answer this, and then I got to go, fellas. But I am also going.
I'm right behind you. I'm right behind you.
Yep. I'm going with Fields. Got to go to the in-laws Christmas Eve thing. So, it's Fields for me. And I will see you guys next week, right? Yep.
I think so. God
Next
willing.
week's the last week.
Huh?
Next week's the last week.
Yeah. Yep. Exciting. All right. I'll see you guys.
Later.
Cheers. Merry Christmas, brother.
Yep. Merry Christmas. Thanks everyone in the chat. See ya.
I'm going Fields as well, but I don't love this one.
There goes our
Glock
snow.
says Higgins, Hopkins, or Mike Williams. Also, Stevenson over James Conner, ? Yes, on Stevenson.
Yep.
We both agree there. This is Higgins or Hopkins for me. And I think I'm going to go Higgins because he's got one Joe Burrow.
I might go Williams here indoors in Indy. But man, it'd be Higgins if I didn't. So yeah, I think I'll stick with Higgins. He's got Burrow. Burrow's on fire right now.
Minshew won on a team trying to lose. Jalen Hurts is playing MVP level football. That's the reason why he's not taking his job. But Minshew could definitely have an opportunity on another team next year.
I think he could.
Minshew makes Sirianni fill in the rest of that mustache. Jaws showing up.
Jaws.
Jimmy says I'm taking the rushing on that one. That's it. If he goes over $100, you're in a good spot. And he's going for that record. Yo, star 3 full PPR for Edward here. Waddle, Godwin, McKinnon, Kamara, Zeke, Swift.
Waddle, Godwin, McKinnon. Waddle.
Godwin.
Zeke.
I want to go Swift, but then I'm like, McKinnon's been getting so many targets. I want to go McKinnon. Full PPR. I'm going Waddle, Godwin, McKinnon. Those targets,
I'll join you.
8, 9, 8, 8, 9, then 1 and 2 bad games.
I'm just glad everybody's come on board with the McKinnon train with me. I like it.
I didn't realize if you would have given me hard statistics like that last week, if I would have known that he was getting that many targets, I don't have any McKinnon shares. I had no idea he was getting that volume in the passing game. That's crazy.
I picked McKinnon up off of waivers in almost every dynasty league I play in this season when he signed late in the year with Kansas City, and it's totally paying off. It's allowing me to survive in leagues where I'm starting frickin' Jeff Driscoll. So,
Jimmy G, Justin Fields has not scored less than 20 fantasy points since week 6. So he's been very, very consistent since week 6.
He's been fine. Like he's been arguably the best rushing quarterback we've ever seen. And he's been an average to above average passer. He's fine. Like nothing wrong with him.
Yeah, fantasy's all we want here. I would agree that the numbers, the statistics aren't consistent in real football terms. Let's see, man, this is such a tough choice for me. Yeah, those 4 running backs picking, that is tough. I'm going with the volume that he's been getting in the pass game. And hopefully Seattle can keep that game close and he should be highly involved.
Crazy. I'd probably have Kamara last on that list. Should drop Tyler Bass, bad weather, and get Dicker or Pinero. Get Dicker. Dicker's been kicking very well for the Chargers, and he's kicking inside in the dome versus Bass outside. And
yeah, I'm with you there. How do you guys think Zach Wilson? We talked about Zach Wilson a little bit ago, and we are both very, very concerned for the future of this young man that we liked coming out of college. Guys don't typically come back from this bad of play, especially when it's over the course of multiple years, right? Like, and they did everything to. People keep talking about what Miami did and what Philly did for their quarterbacks. Jets did the same thing. Zach Wilson just didn't join the party. And that's rough.
The only thing about it is I just have to keep going. I'm just going to look something up.
McLaurin or Christian Watson? I'm going Christian Watson this week.
So am I.
Josh. Cameron Dicker or Chase McLaughlin?
Dicker.
Dicker for me as well. I think Jimmy says he thinks he got stuck in the New York spotlight. That does happen, and that's very true, but you have to have that above the shoulders to play quarterback in the NFL. Maybe if he gets moved this offseason to a smaller market and they give him a job, maybe that will help. Maybe he will realize, the Chris Carter effect where Chris Carter gets released because he's got, personal issues, and he realizes, oh shit, I'm about to be out of the league, and turns into a Hall of Fame wide receiver. That can always happen. But it's just not a good sign.
So if he gets traded, it's for like a 7th round pick at this point.
You're not going to get much for him.
The only thing he has going for him is he's on a cheap rookie deal still. But I think he just sits in New York, and I think he sits behind Mike White and whoever else they draft this offseason.
They do not believe in him. I think they have to move him off the roster, because a lot of this problem has been the way he's treated the locker room and the rumors of the locker room not liking him. If he's not going to be your quarterback going forward, or you don't see him being your quarterback, you have to get him off the roster one way or the other.
That's true. I wouldn't be surprised if he's released then, which is mind-boggling, but
I do agree. Jacksonville was a good spot for a quarterback to grow. Obviously the first year was very bad with their coaching situation, but Trevor Lawrence is also much different upstairs than Zach Wilson is. I mean, one's banging his girlfriend's moms and the other one's like working on football.
I know that they were drafted 1-2, but there's not a bigger gap in between 1 and 2 in any draft class at the same position that I can remember. Trevor Lawrence is
Peyton Manning and
Ryan Leaf.
That's
fair.
And again, Ryan Leaf, all the physical attributes up here. That's what really hurt him.
Yeah. And I don't know who went after Jamarcus in the year he went either. That might be another one.
No, there's a big gap there though. For sure. Akers, Algier, Foreman, half PPR at the running back 2 spot. DJ Moore is at the flex ? Appreciate y'all. Akers, Algier, Foreman.
So one spot where you were bang on last week was talking about Atlanta and how they were going to look at their youth and move forward. And I know that you didn't take your own advice. That said, I like Tyler Algier here. I think that there's an opportunity to run the football a lot in Baltimore in yuck weather. Caleb Huntley tore his Achilles, so he's out for the season. So that's 6 to 8 more touches for Algier. And, Cordell Patterson probably won't do a ton. So I like Algier in this spot. I think I would stick with DJ Moore as my flex as well.
Yeah, I do like Algier here, but I'm going Akers at the flex. I just, again, 1 quarter and the rest of the 3 for DJ Moore were pathetic.
That's fair.
And it's just been so inconsistent for him. At least Akers is going to get touches, but again, that offense isn't very good either. DJ Moore's the ceiling play. If you really need the ceiling, I would go with DJ Moore. And a lot of times this time of year you do. So I'm, good there, but I do like Algier is my clear favorite out of this bunch. The kid he reminds me of AJ Dillon, really. Yeah. Just a big boy that can knock some heads. And James also says, also saw someone ask Dicker or McLaughlin. I'm in the same spot. What y'all think? We went Dicker.
Dicker the kicker, baby.
Indoors, I like it. And he's been doing very well lately. Kyler Murray, Danny Dimes. I think he's talking about the gap, which Danny Dimes was pick number 5, but went way ahead of when he needed to go.
Yeah, the Giants had 2 first-rounders, and they used the wrong one on their quarterback. But.
Yep. Jahan Dotson or Jacoby Myers. There's no way I'm putting Jacoby Myers after his mess up last week and Bill Belichick as his coach. There could be a weak penalty there for Jacoby Myers. I'm going Jahan Dotson here, as much as I don't like the matchup.
I agree. And I really like Jacoby Myers. That was unfortunate.
I do too.
But
he's already been struggling fantasy-wise this year.
He hasn't been 100% healthy either. He's had concussion and shoulder issues and stuff, and maybe he was still concussed, and that's why he threw that pass. I don't know.
DJ Moore, KJ Osborne, or Marquise Goodwin? Sully.
I'm going to roll with my Vikings friend in KJ Osborne. I really think they uncovered something there last week, and they're going to go back to it against a not great Giants secondary this week. I know you like Goodwin this week, and I don't blame you.
I like Goodwin. I like Goodwin a lot this week. I just think there's so many targets there from a quarterback that's actually playing half decent. Osborne is just so inconsistent in Minnesota. I want to see it a couple weeks. I do hope next year he's their number 2, though, because you know me. I've said since he broke out a little bit at the beginning of last year that I really liked the way he looked. So I do like KJ Osborne. I just don't know that he's going to follow up last week. I'm going to go Marquise Goodwin here, and it's for a team that has to throw a lot today. Need my last flex play in PPR. Marshall, Cooks, or Gallup. I'm going Cooks.
So am I.
And don't love it. And you are welcome, Kid Kobe. Josh says lots of moms with wandering eyes to choose from in New York. Zach Wilson doomed. He needs to go to like Boise, Idaho. They need a team there.
They got moms there too. Isn't that where he played college?
Utah.
Yeah. So
no, right? BYU.
Yeah,
Utah?
BYU. Yeah.
Trevor Lawrence and the Jags are going to blow up next year, especially with Calvin Ridley starting game 1. I mean, Calvin Ridley, their wide receivers are already pretty solid.
I don't know if Calvin Ridley is starting week 1. We'll see.
Oh, he'll be starting week 1. The only way he doesn't is if he bet on more stuff. And
I just don't know if he's going to. I just don't know if he's going to be there. I have a feeling he ends up moved again somehow.
Oh, I don't think so. He's around home. They went out and got him. I think that's right where he's going to be.
Could be.
DJ Moore is what Jimmy says. That is going to end the show today. That is all the questions. Another good one. We appreciate everybody. Oh, we did have one come in.
Okay.
Running back 2 need 1. Patterson, Swift, Gibson, Foreman, Deontay. Oh, now it came through on this side. Patterson, Swift, Gibson, Foreman, D. Jackson. I'm going Swift.
Yep.
All right.
Yep.
Later. Merry Christmas, everybody. I will try to be live tomorrow morning.
All right.
Tomorrow sometime.
Merry Christmas as well. And I got to bounce. So thank you.
See you next week, Sully.
Cheers.